I tell you about it at 11.
Has been taking a beating at the gas pump. And for too long, America has been depending on imports for high-mileage cars. Well, Yankee ingenuity is still alive and well. The new Chrysler Corporation introduces the K-Cars, the American way to beat the pump. K-Cars. Aries K from Dodge, Reliant K from Plymouth. 6 all-new fuel-efficient front-wheel drive, quality-built cars and wagons. Only K-Cars come with the simple, easy-to-service direct-drive power system that makes K-Cars the only front-wheel drive cars with high mileage and room for 6 Americans. If everybody in the U.S. drove a K-Car, we wouldn't have to import a single drop of OPEC oil for gasoline. Chrysler's K-Cars are here right now to challenge the imports. K-Cars, the American way to beat the pump.
Leftist guerrillas fired 2 rockets at the U.S. Embassy in El Salvador today. No injuries. One rocket landed harmlessly on the roof, but the other slammed through an armored window and heavily damaged one office. And I tell you about it at 11.
I'm looking for a new broker, Phil.
Oh? Why?
I just think I can do better. Who's your broker?
Well, my broker is E.F. Hutton. And E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
A B-52, a SAC bomber, caught fire on the flight line at an Air Force base in North Dakota last night. 5 men injured in the blaze. State officials say there was apparently a nuclear weapon aboard, but never any threat of an explosion. And I tell you about it at 11.
One great idea after another, after another, after another.
We ask people who don't use eye drops to take the Visine test. With both eyes irritated and red, we put a drop of Visine with tetrahydrozoline into one eye and left the other eye alone. Here's what they said.
You can see that my eye is much less red in my right eye where the Visine was placed.
The Visine eye looks a lot lighter.
The Visine makes my eyes cooler and more awake.
It made my eye clearer.
Take the Visine test and see for yourself. Visine gets the red out of both your eyes.
It works.
A force of Navy surveillance planes and ships has been expanded in the Florida Straits in hopes of curbing the flow of Cuban refugees. And I tell you about it at 11.
There are times when the best way to cross a frontier is to rise above it. In the late 20s, men searching for oil found themselves in tough, rugged terrain where progress was slowed to a crawl, measured not in miles, but in feet. So they took to the air. And through aerial photography, men working for a company one day to become known as Chevron were mapping in days what otherwise would have taken months, even years. And another energy frontier was crossed. Today, we're getting pictures that reveal much more. From satellites sending back thousands of color images covering thousands of miles of the Earth's surface, expanding the search for oil that's still hidden from us in remote and hard-to-reach places. But we'll get there. Chevron was born on the frontier, and we've never left it.
And I tell you about it at 11.
Who got cancer. Warren only talks to patients who have had electroshock therapy. I-5 is still shut down northbound through the Cajon Pass. We'll show you this and all the day's top news. I'm Kelly Lang. See you at 11.
And I tell you about it at 11.
Ta-da!
What big mugs. Beautiful.
Just made them.
For our store?
Nope, for us. Your coffee's so delicious now our old mugs aren't big enough.
Mrs. Olson, you said Folgers is different.
It's a special blend, best I've tasted.
Mountain grown.
The richest, most aromatic kind of coffee.
Your coffee is so good. We might even need bigger mugs.
Try mountain-grown Folgers.
And I tell you about it at 11. Castro, meantime, today said that Cubans in the U.S. have become disillusioned, are scum, and ought not to try to go home. A military court in South Korea today convicted Kim Dae-jung and sentenced him to death by hanging. Kim, a leading dissident in South Korea, he denied the charges he plotted insurrection. John Schubeck, NBC News. And I tell you about it at 11.